Greetings, dudes and more dudes. Welcome back to our third episode
Oh,
of Pod of
goodness.
the East. As
You're
always,
bragging.
I'm your host, Evan Mantle, the humble Evan Mantle. But joining me tonight, we have a guest co-host. Jordan is taking bye-week duties very seriously, so he is taking a bye from the pod. Tonight, we have the Grand Power Rankings Poobah himself, Kirk Sosby, joining us. Good evening, Kirk.
Thank you, Evan. I'm very happy to be here. If I knew that if you had a bye, you didn't have to be here, I should be with Jordan, right? In the bye
Well, when I asked you, I
party
conveniently
room.
left that out. So
Oh,
I didn't want to get stiffed twice. So,
good.
but no, glad you can make it. I've been wanting to have you on and been kind of tossing around myself. This will be a surprise to Jordan. Like, what about a guest or what about a third co-host? So, no, I'm really excited to get into this and look back just briefly at week 14 and then kind of look ahead to round one of the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed watching the video pod with you and Jordan, and happy to be on it.
My
Happy
almost
to
dozen of the views on my YouTube channel agrees
so
with you.
many views, and
So many
that's
views,
probably
all the
more
views.
people than read the power rankings and the game of the weeks. I know we have
Not
hundreds of
not a
readers.
chance. Hundreds of readers daily, yes. Uh, well, let's get right into it because unlike Jordan, I have the free version of Zoom. So, um, so we got 40 minutes here. Week 14, man. There was so many possibilities going into it.
Yep.
In the end, we had yourself, myself, and Josh clinch playoff spots along with Adam, and Frank and Paul ended up missing out. What stood
They
out to
did.
you? What kind of surprised you? What give me some thoughts.
Yep. No, it was a wild week. It was a fun week. I loved running the simulations, trying to figure out what the different possibilities, who gets in if this happens, who gets in if that happens. And
Hmm.
if you kept the points the same, we had an exact this happens, then you get this result. Paul's in if this happens, Frank's in and this happens. But as you wanted to confuse everything. Well, what if Frank scores 200 points and what if Paul scores 200 points? Then Kirk's out. And I'm like, hey, let's not talk about that. Let's not go into
Let's.
those situations where Kirk
Oh,
misses the
Kirk could never
playoffs
be
here.
out. No, yeah, Kirk
No,
could never
no.
be out.
So it could have gone so many different ways. There's so many different
Mhm.
possibilities where Frank did get in or Paul did get in. And I'm kind of surprised that Paul didn't, right? With his roster that he's had
I
week
still,
in, week out.
as I said last pod, I maintain that the third team out of the Central is the strongest team to miss the playoffs. And even though Paul's record is worse than Frank's, I firmly still believe that. Sorry, Frank,
Take that, Frank. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
exactly. That's right.
Frank
Stick it to the
stinks.
commissioners. Down
Frank
with the
stinks.
commissioners,
That's what
or
I've
at
been
least the
saying.
head commissioner.
Absolutely. No, you won the best commissioner or the worst commissioner of the year award this
Thank you.
year.
Yes,
So
no,
stick it to you too.
yeah, mm.
Yeah. It was kind of, it was a little bit chalk though, the week,
A little bit.
Paul was an underdog to get in a little bit. Frank was an underdog to get in. So you had
Hmm.
Jordan win, you had Adam win and take care of business. You won over Paul. So I think
Hmm.
other than Bradley's surprising victory over Joshua, it kind of did go the way that it was the most likely outcome.
Well, and it's funny that you bring up Josh because the super small, narrow path to Josh missing the playoff almost happened. If Frank
Right.
pulls off the upset against Jordan, Josh is out of the play. Yeah, Josh is out of the playoffs because I believe Frank would have had more points than Josh. So like,
Yeah.
we were
Frank would
that
have been sitting there
close
at
to
eight and
like
six. Yeah.
the
Yeah. And,
ultimate chaos.
right. I mean, Josh was the number 2 seed going into the week. So to
Yeah,
go from the 2 seed to out of the playoffs, that's happened to
almost.
me. That's happened to me. I wrote about that in my recap. That was a painful time. And it
Sorry
was
to
due to,
bring up that PTSD
yeah,
for you.
no, well, and that was due to an injury. And that's the case of Josh's team. So I think
Hmm.
that's, the most surprising results to me by
Hmm.
how much you beat Paul, right? How much you destroyed Paul. But that's
Yes.
the second
Yep.
most surprising result to me was how lopsided that was. But the most surprising one was Bradley getting another win. And
Yeah.
Bradley's wins are against playoff teams. So you think, Bradley's
Bradley's wins
super
are
team
against
is knocking off
the
playoff
one
teams.
seed. the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and then Josh was the 2 seed until Bradley beat him. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
if Paul could have found some success against some of the lower ranked teams in the league, or Bradley could have found that success against the lower ranked teams in the league, maybe he'd have been fighting towards the end of the season as well.
right.
Yeah, it's crazy fantasy football, man, and this league in
It is.
particular. But the parity this year um, was awesome, quite frankly.
Right. Right.
Stunning,
You
but
had Nathan,
awesome.
yeah, Nathan going on a strong run, Zach going on a strong run. You had a lot of people heavily involved, extremely active. The parity was really great. I mean, Josh has just been destroyed by injuries. See, he's in
Yeah,
the playoffs, which is still fantastic that he made it, but Scadaboo on IR, Neighbors on IR.
Jaden Daniels
Jaden
is
Daniels
out
has
again
been
this
hurt,
week.
and that's what happened, right? He got hurt in the game, and so he
Yep.
comes up with 2 points. Whereas if he has a full game, he probably gets a win. If he starts Trevor Lawrence instead of Daniels, he wins. He beats Bradley, and he has the number 2 seed, right, instead of
Mhm.
me. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
injuries that have
yeah.
allowed me to win the division. If Josh isn't injured, Josh runs away with the division.
Injuries are a part of life, man. That's
Yeah,
that's 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 the NFL. You love it, hate
right,
it, and we all seem to love it. So,
right,
um, yeah. So, like, let's look. I do want to take before we go jump into round one, and kind of looking at the two matchups there. I just wanted to review briefly Jordan and my predictions. I know Jordan's not here or whatever, but you can kind of give me your reactions to our predictions. Initially, Jordan said his bold prediction, our first pod, three central or three South Division teams. That's your
right.
division. He had belief in your division. As somebody who rated one of the teams in your division multiple times, what happened to your division? What happened there?
I mean, here, Josh and I finished, in the playoffs. It's Zach really who let Jordan down, and Zach was doing really well the first half of the year. I thought he was a
Yeah.
strong team and a playoff contender. I
Mhm.
wasn't shocked by Jordan's bold prediction there. I thought that could definitely happen. Josh just sort of fell apart down
Yeah.
the stretch. At the end, he ended up selling. So I think he's really set for next year. I think he could have a lot of strong keepers and be a strong
Hmm.
contender next year. But McMillan didn't pull through for him. He had a lot of players. Or was McMillan when he got traded?
He got McMillan from
He got
me,
traded. Yeah.
but he ended
But
up,
he had,
trading away Kyron Williams and Dak Prescott to me. You got Josh Allen.
right.
Um, the only thing that I can think of for, just a bow on Zach's season is if he could have gotten rid of Allen or Prescott earlier and looked to shop them earlier for some help. I think particularly wideouts, if I'm remembering. I think he had a great set of running backs, but his wideouts were like abominably horrific. Um, maybe
Yeah.
trade a quarterback for a really good wideout, and maybe you could have snuck in, but yeah, so that didn't happen for Jordan. My bold prediction: two Central Division teams make the playoffs. At the time, I believe all of us were under 500 or at
Right.
500,
Yeah. You had a pretty
and
crappy division. What can you say?
crappy division, excuse me, division with the second best divisional record, and the second most points. And it wasn't particularly close between second and third, Mr. South.
It,
Uh,
it, it took it took Adam and Paul quite a while to get their teams out
it
of reverse up into
it
neutral
really
and then
did.
into drive, but they
Yeah,
turned it on at the end.
they did.
Yeah.
They absolutely did, and they vindicated my bold prediction. Week 12, we went with our playoffs. Jordan nailed actually every single playoff participant. Didn't quite get the order right. He thought David would win his division. He had you at the 2 seed though. He got that. He got Adam at the 3.
Hey,
And then he flipped Josh and I at the 5 and 6. So we
it,
really
it,
did not see
yeah.
Josh stumbling the way he did down the stretch. Because I did not even do that well. I had David at 1. I also had you at 2. But I had Paul winning our division over Adam. I thought Paul would beat Adam in week
Mm-hmm.
was it 12, I
12 or
guess?
13, right?
Week 12. And so I thought that Paul might have the advantage there and win the division, but it went to Adam. And then I had Jordan, Josh, and Evan. So
Right.
again, I flipped me and Josh. I believed in myself enough to at least say I could make the playoffs. So
Yeah. You squeaked in there.
I
No,
I did squeak. Well, I squeaked slash thumped. I mean,
you
that
squeaked
was that
in.
that that
Yeah.
week 14 performance was quite solid, but
That was not bad, but it's mostly your kicker, right? Can you rely on that going forward? Are you going to get 20 points out of Brandon Aubrey every week? I don't know about this.
And that, boys and girls, is why you always keep your kicker. I
Was he
got
a keeper for you?
he was I got so
Oh
much
my
crap from
goodness.
I got so much crap from people for
Right,
keeping
deservedly so.
I kept the kicker and I kept Pittsburgh's defense. I obviously have not
Mm.
stayed with
No,
Pittsburgh's
right.
defense.
That didn't work out. So it's a
That
50-50 shot, you're
it was
saying.
a 50-50. Like Jordan likes to say, it was a coin flip.
Yeah. Coin
That's
flip.
your keyword, Jordan. Let me know that you're listening. Coin flip. um,
No, yeah. I mean, Paul, I mean, his firepower of Pickens and Mahomes and Jefferson and Brees Hall,
oh,
I thought he was a lot, but Jefferson in particular has been one of the most disappointing players
so
down the
disappointing.
stretch.
Well, in that week 14 game where he's got Pickens and I've got Prescott, usually the person that's got the receiver wins that
Right.
duel. Like you're better off
Yeah.
having the receiver than the quarterback. And Prescott had a good game while Pickens did not. So like I mean that went perfect for me. Just
Yeah.
about
No,
everything week 14 did. Um yeah,
the stars aligned.
yeah, surprised. I thought I had a shot at beating him. I thought it'd be really close. I thought I would need 150 or so to beat him. And
Yep.
yeah.
Are you going to be
So
able to knock off the Giant in the next round? The Giant
the
David?
the Giant
Yep.
David seems
David
like
the Goliath.
David the Goliath seems like his stature is more David the Shepherd these days. That's a
Ouch.
great transition. Let's look at that matchup. So we have the 5 versus the 4 versus the 5. Should give the honor to the 4 seed. David, who finished 11-3, will
Man.
end up matching up against me, Evan, who finished the season 8-6. Now, yes, I finished 8-6, and he finished 11-3, so he finished 3 wins better than me.
Yep.
I did end up finishing with about quick math 45-ish more points. 45-ish? Yes, 45-ish more points
Yeah.
than he did. Um, so I ended up having the better points performance. He fit his
Yeah.
points in better, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. If you look at the points against, he did pretty well there. He had a pretty light year, pretty light schedule as far as points against, but he took care of business. That's an impressive record to get 11 wins.
And you got to take care of business. And you know what,
Yeah.
though, actually? I believe I recall from Jordan's newsletter, and I'm just doing this off the top of my head, but I believe I actually had the second fewest points against. Scored against me. So this is actually, and
Nice.
as I'm looking at it now, by like 4 points. So like we both actually ended up facing a fairly
Yep. Evan and
light.
David, there y'all are at the bottom. Man,
Yeah.
yeah. Come on.
Yeah. It's
That's the
good.
best
It's
you can
good.
do.
I'd say it's good to live lucky, except I scored like the fourth most points and still
You
somehow
did.
only
So
finished 8-6. So
yeah, y'all are
clearly
fourth
I
and
was
fifth in
not
total
scoring in
points.
the right spots. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Weird.
yeah.
But yeah,
You're
so look at
here. I think, yeah, you're hitting him at a good time. I think injuries are hurting his capability and limiting his ceiling now. Lamar Jackson's been
yep.
hurt, Bucky Irving, Drake
Dr-
London.
Drake London is out. He does have Bucky Irving back. Irving made it through last week's game unscathed, seemingly. So unless he hurts himself during practice, unfortunately for me, he'll
Hopefully
have
for Dave,
Bucky Irving.
right?
Yeah.
Hopefully for David, he's at 100% there.
And it's thus far it looks like he is. It is a short week, which is probably not ideal. But Bucky Irving had such a long layoff. You hope that the Bucks were serious about getting him back when he was truly healthy and not just healthy enough. So if he's truly
Yeah,
healthy, the short week shouldn't be that bad. And the
yeah,
Falcons
yeah.
are garbage.
Yeah,
So
the
there's
Falcons
that.
are yes. As a Falcons fan, it's a terrific matchup for Bucky. The Falcons stink. The Falcons are horrible. And then
They
he
really
can
do.
he can replace Lamar Jackson with Matthew Stafford, who's throwing to Puka and may have a shootout with Detroit. So he may still
But
be in good shape in the quarterback world.
But you know what we just talked about the Pickens Prescott Week 14 matchup between me and Paul. Guess who's got Devonte Adams? That Matthew Stafford's going to be throwing some of those balls to.
It's all going to Puka. None of it's going to Devontae. I've
It,
inside
it it
information.
it did last week. That's what happened last
Yeah.
week. And
Which is not
Adams,
par for the course, right? Par for the course is
no,
Devontae gets all the touchdowns. So
Devonte
hopefully
gets all the touchdowns,
you're hoping
and
to sap all of Stafford's points with Devontae.
that's right. Pretty much like look, Puka can go for 200 yards. That's fine as long as Adams gets the 2 touchdowns and 50 yards. With a
Yeah.
handful of receptions, I'm good. Like that's good for me. That's a win there. But
Yeah, Yahoo sees it as a close matchup, and I do too. It could go either way. Michael Wilson could be great if Marvin Harrison's out again, but they're facing Houston, so That's a
Yeah,
tough
it's
defense.
look at all those matchups. Look at all the red that you see in the two columns
Yeah.
between David and I. And part of the
Jacobs
reason,
faces Denver. Yep.
yep, yeah. Kyron Williams, I think, is against against Detroit, right? Another Ram, but Detroit's a pass funnel team. Like they don't their run defense is the best. They give up the fewest fantasy points,
Yeah.
and their pass defense is like the second or third worst. So,
Yeah.
like
I,
Kyron Williams isn't a
yeah.
great play. I've got James Cook, but New England is tough, and it's a snow game, and Cook didn't do particularly well against a bad Cincy team in the snow, where I thought he
Yeah.
would run roughshod.
Right.
So, like none of
Fortunately, Josh Allen got all the work there. Josh
yeah.
Allen got the long rushing touchdown. He's been fantastic. Yes. Haha.
Yeah, well, look, and I'm not even mad though. Like, look, you snuck Allen out of Zach's team, but Prescott's been everything that I can hope
Yeah.
for.
No,
So,
he's good. It's a good thing
um,
too because Daniel Jones is hurt, so I would have no quarterback at all if I didn't get Josh Allen. So
there you go, there
very
you go.
fortunate.
But yeah,
But no,
so I mean,
I think
David,
Hampton may be the wild card for y'all. Hampton,
I,
if he's back to 100%, if they're giving him the workload, I think his talent's capable of, depending on what he can do against Kansas City, he could be a 5 point or a 25-point player.
yeah, and that's my dilemma is I've got four running backs for three slots essentially. I've got Jacobs, Hampton, Cook, and Williams. Ky, Kyron Williams. And so like I got to figure, but none of them have good matchups. They're all bottom 10 of the league matchups for me. So
Don't mess it
I gotta
up.
see what the guts feel in there.
Don't mess it up.
Three of them are going to play. I just don't know which three.
Yeah.
For my receivers, it's going to be some combination of Williams, Adams, and Olave, two of those three. But Wilson and Olave have bad matchups. And if Marvin Harrison Jr. is healthy, I don't trust Wilson to get the volume that
Yeah.
makes him like a top five wide receiver in the league. If Harrison's hurt, then like it's all systems go, and I don't care what the matchup is.
Right. No,
Because
he'll get
Brissett's
all the work. He'll
when
get all
when
the
Brissett throws 40
receptions,
times a game and
all the
they throw
targets.
to like three or four
Yep.
people, like yeah, I'll take that. And McBride can get his, Wilson will get his, and that's fine by me. So it just really depends on if Harrison's hurt or not. If
Yep.
Wilson, if it's Wilson or Olave. Um, for David, he doesn't really have much choices. I think his lone choice, really, looking at his team, is Lamar Jackson against a really bad Cincy team, or Matthew Stafford against a really
Right.
bad pass defense Detroit team. And usually, I would suggest the running back if I, was not trying to give my opponent suggestions. But like, I can't really blame him for going with Stafford. Lamar's not been good since coming back from his injury, and Stafford's got a juicy matchup.
He does. Stafford's been putting up points left and right.
Yeah.
Lamar's been looks like he's battling through an injury, so it's a high variable, right? Lamar can always
Mhm.
score a whole ton of points, but Stafford, I think, is the more reliable pick.
Yeah.
And he's rolling.
Especially in a league where we do bonuses. So
Yeah,
like hitting
yeah,
300, that seems like Stafford's almost certainly going to do that.
yeah,
400 is really hard with these new kickoff rules. But like I wouldn't rule it out if
right.
it becomes a pinball game.
Yeah, and then David's doing the Josh strategy of rolling out two tight ends. I like that. We'll see if he keeps it that way all through the game.
Well,
But right now, he's got Ferguson and Goddard starting.
I mean, look at his bench. It's Drake London who's hurt, and then like,
Yeah,
who are you going to start over Goddard?
right,
Pacheco? Really? The Chiefs can't and don't want to run the ball,
right.
and
Not yeah. And
I like
Hunt gets the goal line touchdowns, not
exactly,
Pacheco. So
exactly. So like, yeah, I think he's got to pull the McKnight, which is like amazing that we're talking about two teams in the playoffs running two tight end
right,
strategies. Uh,
yeah,
Wild, just wild. So, all
right.
right. So let's make a prediction. Evan or David, who do you got?
It's a coin flip, but I mean the trend. You're trending up. He's trending down. I'm going to give it to you because of the injuries and Drake London being out for him. I think that makes a difference. I think your core of running backs are going to put up a lot of points. I think Stafford's can't. It's probably not going to outscore Dak there. If he goes with Lamar, it's probably going to not be the 30-point Lamar we're used to. So I'm giving it to you by a hair.
To agree.
I
Um,
think you're going to lose to Jordan next week, though. So I think
you know
it's going
what?
to be tough
Like
to. You got to
it's going
topple
to be
both of
tough.
them
If
back
look,
to
and
back.
I don't
You
want.
got a tough draw.
We'll get to round two when we get to round two. I will say my matchups are infinitely better in weeks 16 and 17.
For
Um,
your players, as far as the defenses those running backs are facing, you're going to need it.
like pretty much everybody. It's pretty much all green or neutral for those 2 weeks. It's really nice, but I got to get there.
Yep,
This is
you got
my
to get
bad
there.
matchup week, so we'll see. We'll see. I do tend to agree that I'll win. If I have to make a prediction here, and it's a little awkward because I'm obviously one of the participants, but
Yeah,
I think I squeak it out. So then let's move on to Adam versus McKnight. We have the Central Division winning Adam, who finished 8-6, versus the second place team in the South, broke ass crackers, Josh.
right.
Josh looked like he was had everything wrapped up a couple weeks ago, and then just really stumbled hard down the stretch. Is pardon the kind of pun we talked about, limping into the playoffs.
Yeah,
The
no,
injuries have
his whole
really
team
killed
is
him.
limping.
It,
Absolutely.
it is. It was good for him to see Amon-Ra St. Brown get back quickly, because that seemed like that could have been a couple week injury, and he's back now. So without like lip practice limitations, so he's not even being limited as marked as questionable. So that's a plus for Josh.
Yeah, he picked up Brock Purdy to replace Jaden Daniels. That's who's got in his lineup right now. Purdy's serviceable. He doesn't
And
have.
Tennessee sucks.
Yeah. That's
Maybe.
serviceable, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
one of his wild cards is Egbuka. Egbuka started the year on fire, and then he's been really disappointing lately.
Apparently,
So,
still getting volume. Everybody's, from what I'm reading, is like the underlying stuff is mostly still there. It's a little bit pulled back, but it's mostly still there. So, you could trust that. It's just a little hard to trust it with a rookie, and when it's been bad for really pretty long, almost half a season at this point.
right.
But
I feel like I should
he
be
doesn't have much of a choice but to trust him. He doesn't really
right.
have another receiver you would trust unless you want to say, I'm going to go with Flournoy because the
Yeah,
Cowboys just throw the ball and CeeDee Lamb's hurt.
yeah. It's sort of a gamble there, right? Flournoy
Yeah.
could be nothing, but he has a decent ceiling,
I suspect
but a
Lamb
very
gets
low
back
floor.
from the concussion stuff, but you never know. So, um,
Right. No, he's had a couple extra days, I think, because that was on a
mhm.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think it's
Yep.
more likely than not he is back, and that's who he's facing on the other side. So it's a huge deal to Josh whether or not CD's there. It makes Flournoy
Yes.
playable, and then he's facing
Yeah.
CD. So you talk
Yeah.
about people, Josh trending in the wrong way and Adam trending in the right way. Adam's just been on fire, and I think Josh going to have a very hard time overcoming the Lamb, Chase, Gibbs trio. So
It is such a good trio. It
it
is
is.
such a good trio. I honestly, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
Adam finished 8-6, but if you look at the all play rankings, all play matchup results say what if each team played every other team in the league each week? Then how many wins and losses would each team have? And I think that's a really good way to tell how good a team's been week in, week out, even more than total points. And Adam is third. He's third in the league in all play rankings, which is a large piece of what I use for the power rankings. So he's been the third best
see,
team
that's a
all
little
year
that's a
long
little
when you
bit
look at that.
behind the curtain. The
Yeah,
Wizards unmasking. Okay, all right. No, that's good though. That is a very good metric. Because yeah, I think it does indicate a certain level of strength vis-a-vis the rest of the league. So
yeah.
yeah, I with Josh, I know Harvey and Henderson, rookie running backs, have uh, Harvey in particular is coming on.
He is. He had a great week last week.
I don't know if I trust Henderson's usage still. He's actually going three running backs instead of two tight ends.
I saw
I,
that.
I
Warren, I
guess
think Warren was in the lineup earlier today, and now it's Pollard. And Pollard, he left on the bench last week, and 40 points wasted
uh,
there. I think he just wants to not give up that again.
maybe Josh is just jealous of Philip Rivers, like 17 kids, and he only has five. So, like, I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't like the quarterback situation, is what I have to
I
imagine.
wouldn't either. I think I'd be sitting Tyler Warren if he was being thrown to by a 44-year-old quarterback that hasn't played in 5 years.
Phil Rivers is on the semifinal list for the Hall of Fame. Now, I don't think he'd get in his first year of eligibility, but he is currently on the semifinal list for the Hall of Fame. If he takes a snap, he will reset his 5 year clock. That's
Really?
insane. He's so far removed from playing NFL
Yeah,
football that he
yeah.
is able to be on the semifinal list for the Hall of Fame. I thought
Right
that was
now.
stunning. Yeah, I don't like what's going on in Indianapolis. You feel bad for them too. They traded away picks, and it
Yeah,
all went to hell in a handbasket. But that's
right.
kind of outside the scope of this of the pod here.
It is.
Um,
It may affect your matchup with David, where Jonathan Taylor is now on a team that may not be able to move the ball as well if they have a 44-year-old quarterback moving
I
out
mean,
there. He'll get a lot of work, but will there be touchdowns? So I think
it's
that's one of the
it's going to
things
be
that
so
pushes it in your
inefficient
favor.
too. It's going to be
Right.
wildly inefficient. That's a great point. Looking at Adam, we kind of talked about it. Jared Goff is on the road, which is generally the worst of the two Jared Goffs, but it's a
Right.
dome in LA, so it's not.
At least he's in a dome, right? That he
It's a
does pretty
dome,
well in a
and
dome versus open
dome
field.
seems yeah, dome seems to be the bigger deal rather than home away splits. Like if you kind of sort it by dome versus non-dome, he's better in Detroit than he is else in a dome
Mhm.
elsewhere, but he's way better in a dome elsewhere than he is outside.
Right. And it's
So it's a
another
hard.
interesting situation where the Amon Ra is on the other side. So you've got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
quarterback and
we've
then you've
got
got
two
his
of
top
those.
target going up
Good
against
point.
each other,
Hmm.
potentially neutralizing those advantages. If Amon Ra goes off, it's because Goff's going off, right? So
Yep, yep.
Adam has
Uh,
that.
yeah, he's got Gibbs. So there's a lot of Detroit going on in this matchup. Um, Kelsey hasn't really been able to do much of anything. I do wonder what happens, what he chooses to do if Marvin Harrison Jr., who I don't believe practiced today,
Right.
um,
I think that's right.
which
So there's
is
another,
Wednesday for people not watching at 9:30 at night when I put this up on YouTube. Uh, I don't think he practiced on Wednesday, and I don't really know what he does. Uh, He's got Chris Godwin Jr., who I mean, the Falcons are bad, but like I don't the Bucks offense hasn't been good. Jaden
right.
Higgins, but that's Houston Texans offense is honestly really bad. Their defense is amazing, but their
Yeah.
offense is poop. Ramondre
Yeah.
Stevenson,
Yeah. I think Godwin's definitely in play against Atlanta if Marvin doesn't play. I think Godwin's been ramping up. Mike Evans might be there too, but
yeah,
Godwin's
Mike
pretty
Evans did
reliable.
get
He had eight
activated.
targets last week.
Yeah, he also could go with the double tight end strategy. Harold Fannin Jr. had an awesome week last week and seemed to be very productive. Dalton
Yes.
Kincaid was hyper efficient, which that kind of always scares me because not a lot of targets plus touchdown hunting equals very volatile. But it's a good matchup against New England,
It is.
even if
It
it's
is. Yeah.
supposed to snow.
Right. I mean,
Um,
Fannin had 11 targets. Absolutely. Wish they'll have Shadur Sanders again this week. Either one of those is viable. Definitely Kincaid or Fannin if Harrison is out. I'd start those over Godwin if I was him.
I'd start them over Kelsey. I'd start both
Yeah.
of them over Kelsey, but but look, I would
Hey.
probably rather. I'm going to eat my words. I see Josh in the final and he beats me for the to get to first to four.
Right.
But
Kelsey
like
scored 1 point
I,
last week, but he scored 24 points against Denver. So that's a huge amount of volatility
that
there.
is a lot of volatility, and chase, maybe you want to chase the upside here. Maybe you think the rest. Although, like with his other good players, I don't know if I'd be chasing upside. I'd probably just go for a good floor, but that's my conservative, risk adverse bias coming in there. So
Right. I mean, I'd expect CD and Chase and Gibbs to be in the 20s or 30s. So it makes sense to make sure you lock in the floor at the tight end position to round it out.
that would be my go-to, but like maybe that's not the most optimal because like if you if his good guys don't boom, but Kelsey booms, then you've got your booms still. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just different strategy, different strategy. Not what I would do, but I also didn't win the division. I didn't beat him. I
Right.
lost by 4 points because James Cook couldn't run for 6 damn more yards at the end of the game. I'm not bitter. I don't have any problems. Don't worry about me.
We don't need James Cook. We have Josh Allen. He's the running back for the team.
I want to go on a rant about Buffalo's usage of James Cook and how they insist on using three running backs and cycling them
He's had
and
a
it's
great year. You have nothing to complain about. Cooks has
I
had a
know,
great
but
year.
like Buffalo, and I get he's got to rest. He's not a robot, but like
You're
Buffalo
just
has some really
greedy.
squirrely usage sometimes. Like guys. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
nothing to
back.
complain. I'm looking at James Cook's points. You have nothing to complain about. You're just being
I
greedy.
know he's still a very good running back, and he's going to be a very good keeper too. Thank you, Tanner. Shout out to the hairless wonder. Uh, so all right, so let's prediction. We're coming up short on time here.
Yeah.
Who do you got? You got Adam or you got Josh?
I go at him here. I don't think this is as close as yours. I should be rooting for my fellow team from the South against the cursed Central, but I really think Adam's got it in the bag. I think Adam's going to knock me off next week. I think he's got a super team with that trio.
Well, and I was actually gonna ask a follow-up question. All right, so you had Adam. Who would you rather see? It sounds like you would rather see Josh.
Yes, yes. I beat Josh. I think I beat him twice. Give him
Ooh,
respect. He has a great team. He
belt
might
to
beat me.
axe. All
Yeah,
right, I like that.
he has a
Lay
great
the
team, but I'm
lumber,
scared,
Kirk.
scared to death of Adam. Scared to death of Adam.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to. I did beat Adam once. I beat Adam early, actually,
Yeah.
but then I couldn't quite pull it off in week 13. But yeah, I also agree. We both agree. 2-0 for the Central. Um, and yeah, so we'll see what actually happens. Looks like you got a guest.
Dude,
Hi Kirk's kid.
this is Galen.
Hi Galen.
But
um,
yeah.
but yeah, so all right, so we've got our round one picks. Quickly, championship. Who wins it all?
Oh man. I think it's most likely for Jordan and Adam to meet in the championship. Hopefully it's me and you, right? Hopefully
Exactly,
we
exactly.
we
We're
can be
putting in all
there.
this work doing this analysis. We should
Yeah.
get rewarded,
Yeah.
right?
We
Yeah, that's
should.
how
We
that
should.
works.
So
Exactly.
I think
Like
Adam makes it there easily. I think Jordan makes it there. He has a super good team. It's hard to see who I would see winning that one, but I'd give the edge to Jordan. His total points, his week in and out dominance, and that all play rankings. Adam has a super team, but Jordan does too. So I give the edge to Jordan.
we see things very similarly, sir. I think that does tend to be the way that it goes. I think Jordan's team is really, really dang good. Um, I think it's slightly better than Adams, and I Jordan's vulnerable. I mean, he lost 3 times, but one of those was like by Mageddon for him. Um,
Right. Right.
it's
No.
it's really it's really
Puka and
hard to see Jordan
JSN.
losing, and he
Yeah,
only has to
Puka
win
and JSN
twice.
are right.
Yeah,
Puka and JSN are pretty unstoppable. I regret
yep,
encouraging him to keep JSN.
yeah.
I looked at
Not
some text. He tried to trade JSN to me last year, and I was like, no, I don't want any of that.
well, he was not nearly as
So
good last year. I'll say that.
no, but
Hindsight's
we had a crystal
2020.
ball. Exactly.
Exactly. Well, on that depressing note, that's going to make Jordan insufferable for a whole off season. We must bid you all adieu. Good luck to all playoff combatants, unless you stand in my way in my race for 4. Adios, so long, and good night.
Good luck. See ya.